Hey guys, we're going to take a quick look at the Fallen Protectors, the second boss encounter in the Siege of Orgrimmar. You will have to fight 3 bosses during the encounter, and as you can see, they need to be fought simultaneously. They don't share health, and they all need to die within a 15-second window or they heal each other. When one boss reaches 66% and 33% health, it casts an ability called Desperate Measures, disappearing and summoning a number of adds that you must fight and kill. When the adds die, the boss comes back. We're DPSing Rook Stonetoe at the start, who acts like a Brewmaster monk. He has 3 regular abilities that you can see him using here. A stun that he casts on his tank, followed by frontal cone damage. A clash with a random player, followed by AoE damage in a small radius for 9 seconds. And a Shadow Crash style mechanic where he throws damaging kegs at ranged raid members. He's at 66% health now, and as you can see, he's split into 3 different mobs. Embodied Sorrow, which we're focusing first, casts Inferno Blast, which deals a lot of damage split between players in an area. Embodied Gloom spams an interruptible nuke that deals damage in a 4-yard area. Embodied Misery casts Defiled Ground, which are very damaging void zones. All 3 adds are dead, and as you can see, Rook is back, and we're focusing our DPS on He Softfoot now. This boss is very roguelike, putting bleeds on players and using poison attacks, including damaging poison void zones. At 66% he disappears and summons an add called Embodied Anguish, which fixates on a random raid member, placing a debuff on them. The debuff roots this player in place and deals shadow damage to them every second. The add remains fixated on this player and moves towards them to melee them. This debuff can, however, be passed around to other raid members through use of an extra action button, and passing it to the tank made the mechanic quite trivial, although this may not be possible on live realms. Sun Tenderheart has just reached 66% health and has entered the Desperate Measures phase. She becomes untargetable and deals pulsing raid-wide damage, but the damage done by this ability is greatly reduced if players stand in the protective barrier that the boss creates, which you can see here. During this time, she also summons a number of small adds which must be killed and which reflect the damage they take to raid members. Normally, Sun acts like a Shadow Priest. She places a dot on 2 random raid members, which jumps to 2 additional targets after 3 seconds, and so on. This dot can and should be dispelled. She also casts a sort of Mind Seer on random raid members, and she periodically deals a high amount of raid-wide damage, which also clears all instances of her dot. The fight will then continue like this, with the bosses each triggering their Desperate Measures phases again at 33% health, after which time you just need to make sure that they all die at once. Another thing to keep in mind is that you should avoid triggering Desperate Measures simultaneously on 2 or even on all 3 bosses, since this will complicate the fight too much and it will probably lead to a wipe. Overall, this is a pretty complex encounter and a rather long fight. We hope you enjoy this first look at the boss. Thank you for watching and please subscribe.